Mercedes Schlapp joins us now, along with New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Good to have you both on. Congressman, I want to start with you. You blasted your Democrat colleagues on the Hill earlier. Let's take a listen to that.
They assaulted federal law enforcement officers. And for what? To free whom? Criminals? I'm going to show some more pictures. Was it to free Jorge Luis Sanchez Luna, a Mexican national who was a registered sex offender who sexually assaulted his own daughter? Or was it Lopez Reyes, a Mexican national who's wanted in Mexico? They want him back in Mexico. He's a fugitive for the offense of raping a child.
Really disturbing stuff that you outlined there, sir. How do you view this, the charges and the reaction to them tonight?
Look, this is common sense. In the past administration under Joe Biden, they allowed criminals of all kinds that were also here illegally to just roam around the country. Worse than that, I mean, some of these individuals were rapists, murderers, illegal gun dealers, drug dealers. Some of them were on the terror watch list. And we actually didn't do anything to incarcerate them or keep them before we deported them. They seem to think that when I say they, I mean the radical left Democrats seem to think it is a good thing to have these people in our streets. And what I said to some of the folks that were there today, who I believe some of them were actually from the city of Newark, it's bad for the people who are living on the margins of society, who are struggling as it is, because of all the money we spend on these folks, because of the danger they cause in public security. It's wrong, and it's terrible, and we're going to stop.
Mercedes, talk about the politics of it, though, and how funny it is to watch this woman. This is the fight, and this is the hill she wants to die on, this ridiculous story that her constituents probably can't stand.
Well, she must be related to Senator Chris Van Hollen, who went down to El Salvador to have a drink with the Maryland man. But that's a whole different story. Look, the reality is, and as the congressman knows, there's a way to do oversight in this country. And one way would have been for the congresswoman to directly talk to DHS, talk to the ICE director, instead of pushing forward and doing the spectacle. We know this was a political stunt. This was her chance of going viral on social media, and that might make her liberal base very excited. She might raise a lot of money from it, but the reality is that right there you're seeing in the video, she's pointing her finger at the woman who is the law enforcement and really confronting these ICE agents, and I just find it to be just not appropriate for behavior coming from our congressman, especially when they're really honing in on just pushing rights for illegal aliens, which makes no sense. It goes against what I think their constituents would want to see.
Yeah, I tell you what, New Jersey's getting more and more red every day, it feels like, especially with this governor's race coming up, Trump getting more popular. I think she's primed for a primary over there. Mercedes and Congressman Jeff Van Drew.